Okay, welcome back, Sanjeev and Sanjay. As I said, the Jai Viru combination of Bangalore. Delighted to have you here with us. You've been tremendous supporters, movers, shakers of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and with I know the passion that exists here for the democratization of entrepreneurship. And I thought let's do a quick conversation around the two parts. One, of course, your own vision for what should we be doing together to make India a startup superpower by 2035. What are the initiatives already underway, both at the central government as well as the state government level? And third, maybe thoughts that takeaways from for each of us on how do we act together. One of the things that came up very strongly in the conversation that we had was this acting in unison, that we need to come together much more powerfully, and coordinated action is the key. So would love to get us started. Maybe I'll start off with you, Sanjeev. You've been passionately espousing the cause of democratization of entrepreneurship for a long time.
Thank you, Madan. Very good morning to all of you. It's almost 3 years back. We discussing about the democratization of entrepreneurship, and first time I wrote it down a small paper on democratization of entrepreneurship, and I shared with Madan. And then he said, "It's a great thing. Let's do that." And then the TGS came in place, and then we put together a democratization of entrepreneurship as a very thematic approach of the TGS one. And in the TGS, and Ritu and all collaborated with KPMG and published the report first in kind called Democratization of Entrepreneurship. So Ritu and entire team, thank you so much for doing that. And then we started looking at these concepts as, is it really a powerful concept? What's happening around with this thought process? When I see the Niti Aayog started talking about of democratization of entrepreneurship, when I see the MeitY Startup Hub is talking about of democratization of entrepreneurship, and then at the global level, when everybody's talking about of democratization of entrepreneurship, it gives a proud feeling, Madan, that one small idea, one small thought process can become such a powerful approach. I think my thinking around democratization of entrepreneurship is that if at all India or a true power of the Bharat needs to be come out, it is not in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Delhi NCR. It's absolutely not. We have just seen a color of what entrepreneurship can drive an economy for. But if the power has to be seen, it will come from those 600 districts of the country which has a power of innovation, solving fantastic local problems, amazingly collaborating together to make unicorns in every district to come out, right? So a country can have 700 plus unicorns. I'm confident about it. If anybody has a doubt, I'm happy to have a shastras on that approach, right? To make sure that I convince him or her that I'm fully convinced on that. If the 700 unicorns can be created, you're creating a $700 billion impact to the country and GDP. And that's the power I see, maybe not in 2035, but for sure in 2000, around this period of time, we'll see the power. Now, how do we do this? We need to create those different models onto that part. We need to create an approach and thinking around it. And there's nothing called a standard format of doing the exercise. Innovation in the governance, innovation in the policy, innovations in collaborations, innovation in institutions will bring together the power of this Bharat version of democratization of entrepreneurship. One more point to add is, right to live is a constitutional right. Fundamental right given by the Constitution of India to all of us. And I'm actually shaking all of you today with this morning thought process. Entrepreneur needs to live. Right to entrepreneurship is derived from right to live. And hence, the democratization of entrepreneurship, I can extend the definition saying it's a democratization of entrepreneurship is a constitutional right that we need to provide these services to all. I come with this thought process very, very strong. And I would advocate that a lot. Back to you, Madan.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Let's hear it for that of right to entrepreneurship, and that's where the power comes from. In fact, you talked about unicorns. Here is a small quiz question, especially for our young friends. We've all celebrated 100 unicorns, 110 unicorns, or whatever that number continues to grow. It's back to growing again. Guess which was the first unicorn of the country, the first officially recognized unicorn of India? Quick. It's in Bangalore. InMobi. Okay. Let's give a huge round of applause to InMobi and Naveen for setting us on that path. I'm sure, we will reach that 1,000 unicorn number. I also keep arguing that maybe it's just not the valuation, but it's the not $1 billion valuation, but ability to spark 1 billion smiles, right, and impact 1 billion people. To me, is the truer definition of a unicorn. So we've seen that perspective, Dr. Tyagi. You've seen the democratization of IT from you began. We were talking about how you started out your career how many years ago at STPI, and you've really seen the growth of the technology world. Now that we're at the cusp of another massive revolution, would love to hear your reflections and thoughts.
Thank you, Madan. In fact, we have evolved over a period of time. This journey has started 30 years before in this country, when economic liberalization has started. And this economic liberalization for the IT industry have manifested through STPI. So STPI has become a special purpose vehicle to implement the vision of our leaders, of our government at that point of time, to facilitate the industry. The first word which has been given to my boss was the facilitation. When I asked him, sir, are we a regulator? He said, no, we are the facilitator. And since then, this word encompasses every word into it. Even the democratization of the entrepreneurship comes from the facilitation itself. So for me, for last 30 years, democratization of the entrepreneurship is nothing but the facilitation by the industry. We have to understand them, where they want to take us. We have to understand them, what are the resource requirement, what is the capacity building we have to do for them. And that is what we are doing for last 30 years in this country. And the impact is visible that we have reached to this level. We have evolved to this level that today we are thinking that we should have 100 unicorns or 1,000 unicorns from this country. This has not happened simply like that. We have done a lot of hard work in terms of creating the policy framework in place. We have learned from the every policy which we have created in 1991. Then we have revived it in 2005 and 2006. We have liberalized our whole market in the government of in India. And entire this impact which we have created, this has bring us to this level that we are talking about the democratization of the entrepreneurship in this country. I always say that we have done many capacity building in this country. The capacity building was in terms of the policy framework. The capacity building was in terms of getting the skilled manpower, IT infrastructure in place, computing facility in place. But there is one more capacity building happen in this country, and that is the aspirational capacity building. And that is bringing us to this point that we are talking about the democratization of the entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. I think democratization of aspirations is such a powerful thing. In fact, Professor Sargopan, of course, is here. He and I have the opportunity to co-chair the Karnataka State Higher Education Vision Group for COEs. I was in a government college in Chenpatna. Of course, not too far away from here, but 100 kilometers, it's still not much of industry interactions. We were all in a classroom, and I was interacting with about 100 odd students, about 70% are girls. Interestingly, I think we were with a delegation also, and they asked a question: how many of you want to work in corporates, large corporates? About 20, 30 hands went up. How many of you want to work in startups? 60 to 70 hands went up, right? And a lot of them were saying, I want to do a startup. I have this idea. In fact, we met 4 startups from there who are truly building, things around Chanpatna toys, somewhere, someone was doing some agri work around coconut fiber. So it is fascinating to see this spreading out. Sanjeev, two questions. One, maybe you would want to talk about the bold new leap that Karnataka is doing which is just at the cusp of a rollout. And two, your reflections on saying, listen, there are five elements and five fingers have to come together. You have the government, the corporate, the academia, the investment community, angels right through the spectrum, and of course startups and ecosystem actors like us. And I think if you can all come together, there's a much powerful fist than puny fingers that each of us have. What are your reflections on how, and your reflections on how should we work together more effectively?
Thanks, Madan. Before I go to the lead, just one liner that I think 2016, when the Startup India program started and bringing the startups into the forum, I believe, and I'm pretty confident on that number, is that the startup policy from the government of Karnataka was already laid down, right? And we are working on creating a models of the idea generation at the institutions level. And we started a program called as New Age Innovation Network. The journey from there towards the elevate, towards the setting up the Kitwin organization for funding at higher levels, and some of them are the ICE investment committee of this Kitwin fund as well, sitting here in the room. And then taking the ecosystem across of incubation centers, K-Tech incubation centers across the districts in the state. This has led to, and then starting NESCOM 10,000 program in Bangalore in partnership with NESCOM, has led to a very different wave in Karnataka. I would say that thanks for that, all those players who have come together and designed those, they started putting up the pillars of developing this today called as democratization of entrepreneurship model. And it's still evolving. And that's the reason that we today have almost like 3,000 startups beyond Bangalore coming up from there. And some of them has raised funding, valuations on or exits more than $100 million easily. And some of them are very, very prominent as well. Giving this inspiration and giving this thought process and giving the government of Karnataka's leadership on beyond the Bangalore part, this year, in fact, we all sat together and put together a concept called as Local Economy Accelerator Program, LEAP. Is that beyond Bangalore, how do we create an accelerator program for the local economy and entrepreneurs from there? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud to share that 1,000 crores of budget has been earmarked for this program for across the clusters in the state. 1,000 crores. I thanks to the Chief Minister, I thank to the Honorable Minister, the bureaucrats across the ministries for showing that passion and commitment towards this. We are the enablers. We put together a concept, we put together papers, and etc. But at the end of the day, the decision has to be taken. And if they're convinced, it happens. And this is where the power comes in place. Now, what is going to do that? It's going to take up deep tech is also a very important element that is going to play in the LEAP program. How do we leverage tech for the local economy? What are the pain points the local economy is facing right now? Could be GTM, could be global markets, could be funding, could be mentorships. We need to resolve and solve these issues together. Results coming together and solving by the problems which are there. So LEAP program is in the shape. In fact, yesterday we had a startup vision group meeting where Madan, you were there and many other people were there. We're debating about more of a LEAP program and in terms of size. We're doing a big tech show in Mysore. There's a roundtable aligned for the LEAP program and it will happen in every cluster of the Karnataka. Ladies and gentlemen, please watch out for more details on the LEAP coming out, especially the people who are sitting there at the back. What I want to convey, second question is about how do you bring these five fingers together? I think if we can start looking at the nervous system of the entrepreneurship, and the nervous system of entrepreneurship is not defined by who you are. The nervous system of ecosystem of the entrepreneurship divides by how these nerves together are there in the mind of us and evolving to the spark of the energy to contribute. So each one of us, as a part of the organization, plays a role. LEAP will bring all these ecosystem players together at the grassroots level. We are very fortunate that today when we talk about a startup ecosystem in Bangalore, nobody said it is owned by me or I have done it. Tell me anyone in the Bangalore city will say, I am the founder of the startup ecosystem of Bangalore. Absolutely not. In fact, every one of you from the VC, all the five fingers of yours, has contributed to make what Bangalore is today number one in the in India as well, right? I see the same status going in. Your TIE Kalburgi is an initiative of being an institution there. Tomorrow the TIE Tumkur is going to come up. Tomorrow TIE Shimoga is going to come up. We'll have these 6 chapters of TIE in the state itself. These are institutions of the TIE. The government agencies. I got a call from, we had a member of parliament coming to our office talking about of the incubation center. Says, can I use my own MP Let's fund to set up an incubation center? This is the way that the transformation happening around in the bureaucracy, in the political circles. And I see a very huge potential for collaborating. The only one mantra which is there is, please, if you're participating in the ecosystem as an individual or a VC or an organization, please remove your hat of who you are. Wear the hat of the larger picture of democratization of entrepreneurship and say what you can contribute to that, right? And bring that value to the table. If you can do that, you will find many friends joining together. So I urge all of you to make the dream of the LEAP program successful by all of you coming together and saying, this is my program. I'm going to work and I'm going to contribute on that. And KM and the Department of IDBT are enablers to make it happen. Back to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Sanjeev. Sir, your thoughts from a deep tech standpoint as well. I know STPI has now been creating a lot of COEs, right? How can all of us, the entrepreneurs here and the ecosystem actors, really leverage the network that STPI is building, and any thoughts on that?
We have set up, we have been told to set up the Center of Entrepreneurship in the Emerging Technologies. And in every domain, we are setting up the Center of Entrepreneurship in the entire country. So far, we have set up the 25 Center of Entrepreneurship.
Wow.
3 of them are in Bangalore, and obviously it should be. One is into the IoT domain, another is into the efficiency augmentation, which we are doing along with the government of Karnataka. And they have funded it, and they are very passionate about it and supporting us. And another is into the medtech domain. So these are the 3 domains which we are covering in state of Karnataka. And we want to utilize these laboratory and all the infrastructure which we have created, not only to nurture the entrepreneurship, but also for providing the skill development for the higher technical education around us, especially for the teachers training part. We want to play that role. We want them that whatever the infrastructure have been created, these people should be trained more so that they can communicate more with their own students. So this is the one thing which we are doing. I'm coming to the point which Sanjeev have discussed right now. And we depend upon the data which we have collated in the last 30 years. And data says that we have 30% of the multinational and Indian large company, and 70% are the MSME. The 70% MSME are contributing 30% of the export, and 30% are contributing 70% of the export. So that is the data. Besides the entire celebration and the success which we talk about, the IT success story of the India, we are still able to capture only 8 to 9% of the IT spend of the world. And I still remember the words of the great president of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam. He said one day, what are we celebrating? I think once we will be able to capture 25% of the IT spend of the world, that will be the point for the celebration. So that is we don't have to be complacent. We still have to accelerate these 70% MSME to contribute to the GDP of India. And that is why whatever we can do to create a MSME acceleration program in this country, whatever we can do to change the mindset of these MSME who are complacent, I have so many successful MSME companies which are there for last 25 years, which are having 500 people working with them, which are exporting of 50 crore rupees from their company, and they don't want to move further. So it is a mindset we have to break in. And probably they have proved their mettle. They have proved that they can take care of international customer for last 25 years. They have proved that they have acquired the capability and skill set to tackle those projects. So not only we should take care of the startup ecosystem, but we should also take care of that MSME, which has contributed a lot in terms of creating the employment in this country. And if we accelerate them, if we accelerate those 25 years old MSME, which is still stagnated over there, then I think that will be a great achievement. And I'm very happy that government of Karnataka have taken this initiative and allocated 1,000 crore rupees for acceleration of the MSME. Probably certain separate fund should be allocated for the deep tech MSME. So that is how we can contribute more from the Karnataka for the overall growth of this country.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing these. I think these thoughts and setting a fantastic stage for the conversations ahead. I know we have a packed agenda for the morning, so in the interest of time, let me call this session to a close. Thank you so much, both of you. More power to all of us. And my request to all of you, of course, Dr. Sanjay and Sanjeev will be available through the morning for any conversations. I request two things. One, you have a pen, book in your kit. Jot down any thoughts you have specifically on how to make India a startup superpower. We will incorporate that into the next level of report. You can leave it at the desk. My colleague Chinmay will be there. Two, if you want to share a voice clip or a video clip, we have the rooms there. Please go share your thoughts. We want to collate as many inputs as possible as we get to the next stage of the version 2 of this report, which we should launch in the next couple of months. So with that note, thank you again, Sanjeev, Sanjay. Look forward to working together and appreciate it. Thank you.
I request Shri Muralidhar Suryanaran, board member of TIE Bangalore, to please come up and give mementos to our two guests who took this session on democratization of entrepreneurship.